how to marry your sibling. Marrying your biological sibling is illegal in most states, but here are 3 loopholes that you and other gross weirdos can use to forever bind yourself to the love of your life that your mom squeezed out when you were just a toddler. Number 1, fake your own death. If you're dead, no one will ask any questions when your sister brings home her new Jamaican hubby named Rasta Bob she met while on a weekend girls trip in Vegas. Just make sure your new identity comes with a good disguise. Number 2, join a cult. Most cults love to keep it in the family and have an in with the court to turn that brotherly love into brotherly love. Number 3, move to Missouri. If you're unlucky enough to end up with a middle seat on the airplane, do not feel pressure to give up those armrests. Those window and aisle seaters get their views in single leg room. It's about time you get something nice. You've suffered enough. Free samples at Casco are just that. Free! Don't let them tell you that you can just have one. I'll tell you when I'm full. Once the light turns green, the vehicle ahead has exactly 2 seconds to move. If they do not within the allotted time, that's a distracted driver. It's then perfectly acceptable for you to blare on that horn, but only after exactly 2 seconds. Otherwise, you're an asshole. When using a toilet at a fancy restaurant or somebody's home, it is your responsibility to make sure that bowl is clear and free. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a double or quadruple flush. Whatever it takes, you must clear that bowl if you wish to be invited back. But if you're using a toilet at a dive bar or a hockey stadium, feel free to do that hover move and and piss all over the seat. Am I right, ladies? How to unadapt your children. By law, you're contractually obligated to raise your children to adulthood, no matter how ugly or whiny they may be. But old Reno here has 3 tricks that you can use to ditch those old devil children for good. Number 1, hijack a speedboat. When you get to Barbados, tell them that mommy and daddy love you, and then leave them high and dry. The local wildlife will love and take them in, teaching them to live amongst the trees and forage for sustenance. Now hightail it back to the States and claim they were kidnapped by koalas. Number 2, trade them in a bet. Find a friend who has a huge gambling addiction and keep intentionally losing to them. Offer up those little angels as a wager. After one little loss against the Scottsdale Fighting Artichokes, your kids will be living with their new daddy and you'll be scot-free. Number 3, time travel back to a time when you didn't have kids. Be sure to find your teenage self and teach them about the dangers of unplanned pregnancies and how it'll totally ruin your plans to become a famous professional surfer who marries Kathy Ireland. Our fruit and vegetable trays must have their own separate tons. Nobody wants Uncle Ricky's gross, greasy hands all over the cauliflower. If it's full service, good service, a tip of gratuity after the service is a kind gesture. But if it's a request for gratuity before the service at your local artisan Chick-fil-A, then no tip for you. But do prepare for a little bit of human saliva in that chicken sandwich. While failure to return your shopping cart is currently unpunishable by the state, it most certainly is punishable by my palm. Put it away, or I will smith you. If you order a large drink, the amount of ice should never be more than triple the amount of the medium size, even if it's only 50 cents more. If I wanted to pay more for less, I'd move to California. When going on a first date, the person who plans it should pay for it. It is a kind gesture by the other to offer to pay, but is not required. Unless they order 2 main courses and every hors d'oeuvre on the menu. In that case, politely excuse yourself to the patty and then make like a bird and dash. When exiting an airplane, you must wait until all passengers ahead have left their seat before you start to exit. If you cannot follow this simple rule, the camera police will look for you. They will find you. And they will delay you. Barking back at a loud dog is not illegal. Stand your ground, mark your territory, and be the alpha if need be. Know what to do when you're getting arrested. If you're being detained, you have the right to speak with an attorney. It's your 6th Amendment right. And if those cappers refuse you the 6th, you should oblige them with your number 2 right, a big fat dookie. Exercise your right to drop trow and squeeze out a big old juicy right on the cell floor. And when those cappers come to investigate, tell them it was a dog living under the cot. They'll have to open the cell door to clean up that wretched stench of a dookie the dog left, which is when you swipe their keys, lock them in, screaming, "You'll never catch me," as you salsa your way out of the front door while it's missing you by literal inches. I'm Franklin Reno, your budget lawyer. Well, Christmas is a jolly season where bright, colorful decor adorning your home is wonderful eye candy. Keeping your tree or lights up too long is unacceptable. You are allowed to keep them up from the end of November through January 1st. But if they have not been put away by January 2nd at 10:04 a.m. on the dot, may Krampus not have mercy on your soul. As front seat passenger, it is your responsibility to accurately provide directions and to put together an agreed-upon musical playlist that appeases the driver. If you cannot fulfill your duties, get in the back seat where you belong, you peasant. If you're holding a spot in line, saving for one person is socially acceptable, but two people is the max. Anymore, you must go to the back, or expect to face passive-aggressive moans emanating behind you for the remainder of your wait, you big line butter. Restrooms with 3 or more urinals should, whenever possible, always have an unoccupied patty between patrons. Your pee-pee deserves privacy, too. You're on a crowded elevator. The person nearest the buttons must press a floor number if requested. Failure to do this puts you on a whole new level of asshole. When you receive a crappy present from your secret Santa, the last thing you want to do is disappoint them. Instead, make an oh sound. Tell them, oh, it's perfect. And then later sell that shit on Facebook Marketplace and use that money to make friends who actually have good taste. Know how to get out of a speeding ticket. When you're being pulled over for a speeding ticket, the cappers will usually ask,
do you know why I pulled you over?
Do not answer this! Instead, ask them for their name, badge number, their partner's eye color, and if they prefer to brush their teeth in the morning or in the evening. Remind them that gingivitis is a leading cause of tooth decay, and that brushing and flossing helps keep your teeth and gums healthy for the long haul. That's why today's video is sponsored by Dr. Gingerman's Teeth Wash. Now legal in almost 7 states. Pick yours up at your local pharmacy and some auto parts stores. I'm Franklin Reno, your budget lawyer, and I'll fight to ensure that you receive your meal first and the table does not offer to let you eat. You are under no obligation to wait until their dishes have been served. Nobody likes a cold wiener, schnitzel, and kraut. If you're holding a spot in line, saving for one person is socially acceptable, but two people is the max. Anymore, you must go to the back, or expect to face passive-aggressive moans emanating behind you for the remainder of your wait, you big line butter. You're on a crowded elevator. The person nearest the buttons must press a floor number if requested. Failure to do this puts you on a whole new level of asshole. Old Chris Kringle says that if you make it on his natty list, you won't be getting any presents this year. But the natty list is not a legally binding contract. Therefore, you tell that chubby peeping Tom to stuff your stocking full of goodies and to take that big lump of coal and stuff it where the sun don't shine. You Santa, you f***ing